Hello, my name is Madison Fanning. I'm in Architecture 502 and I am with Ian Dickinson as a professor. To start off with my final project, I am in the city of Detroit for this. This was an existing site where it actually has an elementary and middle school on it currently. But for my design, I actually decided to remove that from the site and start new. The reason for this choice was to create one cohesive building that would serve preschool through 12th grade due to there only being one high school in the local area serving several school districts. This will help further the idea of having cohesion throughout the learning experience. I started off with my environmental analysis. Being in Detroit, most of the sun is coming in from the south throughout the year. Wind, you are having it mostly come from north, south, and the east. Very little is going to be coming from the west. I wanted to do a study to see how far from the site it would be to get to different bus stops, routes, because there are a lot that go through there. And then I started with three different designs with the form of clusters because I wanted to keep the students together based on their age. So, for example, preschool through second grade would be in a similar area, third grade through sixth grade, seventh and eighth grade would be together, high school, and then you'd have separate areas then for extended learning, such as science, arts, and math, but still focusing on main school concepts rather than leading down a path of just STEM or just mathematics at such a young age. So as we can see in my program table here, I actually have my building divided here based on color of what it falls under. So collective spaces, I have the cafeteria, basketball gymnasium, auditorium, and then reading nooks and entryways. The blue spaces that you see, those are my learning units. So there's one classroom per grade level. And then there's two areas for the arts, two areas specifically towards math, and two areas specifically towards science, STEM, robotics. And as you also see, the additional blue area behind each room is actually a more so a gathering space for group learning. In a classroom environment, you're going to be normally looking at a teacher, looking at boards, but these back areas are more so like a breakout room extension of the classroom to really like work together on skills. So as we can hear from my site context plan, I do take up most of the site. This one area here being the gym and auditorium, and it actually is separated here and here from the rest of the school, allowing it to then be open after school hours for the community to use. I didn't want to create just a school for students, but also for the community to benefit from. Looking at my floor plan, then we can see how everything is oriented. This internal courtyard in the middle, which then becomes an extension of learning space. We also have it so I used a uh, single-sided corridor, and I did this that way the light and the space that is coming in from this courtyard, it allows you to feel open, but also in a very safe way. I wanted to create a very safe school for these students, while still not feeling boxed off. As we can see here on the second floor, then you start to have different arrangements of furniture, and that has to do with the age of the students and how they should be developing. And then same here with the third as well. Looking at my isometric views, then you can see with the sun coming from the south side here of how it's going into the courtyard and how it affects then the building as it sits on the site. And then looking at the perspectives here, you see that once again, just with how much daylight there actually is coming through in Detroit. And then in these interior perspectives, here we are looking down the hallway with that interior courtyard. So it allows a great amount of light, but also up here, these windows open to allow natural air in, but creating that safe environment for the students. And then same here within the cafeteria, getting lots of natural light then in from that courtyard and all those secured windows. Looking at my sections here, we had the buildup of the air ducts, the structural columns that go through, and then creating a nice large cavity for the structural beams that go through here, but also all the other components as well. So we can see here looking, this cuts through the cafeteria, looking into then the courtyard as well. Then this cuts through the courtyard again, but then looking into these collaboration spaces right outside the classrooms. And then my passive systems that I chose was I have sunshades that help reduce the amount of light that come in, especially those south-facing windows. These are only on the north and south sides of the building, though. There's also some right here on the northeast side, just because where the sun path hits it. Also, for security for the students, I decided to make the windows that face directly towards the street to be opaque. This helps with safety, but also reduces the amount of direct light coming in and heating spaces. As I mentioned before, I also have the top part of the windows that face the courtyard do open up to allow natural ventilation. So during the summertime, as it gets warmer, they can allow breezes through, but then during the winter, they can have air go out as well for some fresh air. The courtyard and surfaces around the site are also going to be permeable. That way, you don't have runoff during the rain and snow that happen here. And then native plants only will be used to reduce excessive water usage. Looking at my active system, I do have HVAC units. I actually will be utilizing four of them. They will be used one per each zone then of the building. So as we can see here, this group down this hallway is one zone for this unit, extending then all the way down throughout the floors. Looking into my wall section here, we can see how, once again, these solar shades are helping reduce the amount of direct light, and then the opaque windows also reduce direct light going through the windows as well to prevent overheating in those rooms. We can see here then the buildup of the walls between being brick on the outside. And the reason for this facade was so that it would match the industrial heritage that Detroit has. Looking here then at my section perspective, we can see then how there's the cohesion between these classrooms, but then leading into where they have then this group area to work as students. Overall, I wanted this building to remind us of traditional values, not so much in the fact that you're sitting and staring at a teacher all day, but I believe as younger students, they should have the skills of working together, especially at the younger ages, having then this space that allows them to collaborate more, maybe without instructor help, to develop skills. But then as they get to an older age, more so independent thinking that happens. That way, they're prepared for their next steps in life and ready for hopefully attending college to then figure out their next steps rather than at such a young age being pushed down one direction as well. Thank you so much.